I've just played one of the scariest games of the year. Let's talk about a Japanese horror nightmare. Night Security by Chillizart. Full game playthrough with all endings right here. I have played dozens of horror games since starting this channel, and man, this one was scary. You play as a security guard who works the night shift. You go to each floor of the office building, check the fire alarms, and lock up. However, the higher you go in that office building, the more disturbing things get, and you start to piece together that something tragic happened here. You learn about another security guard that just stopped showing up to work after something awful happened in his life. I guess they worked the same shift you did. You learn about a girl who was in love with that security guard, and a betrayal that caused her to resort to something she could never take back. How is it connected? I won't spoil them here, but the two endings reveal the truth about this nightmare situation. And if you think you might want to check it out for yourself, I hope you're brave.
Most terrifying prisoners of all time. This is Jamie Osuna, the man with 1,000 faces. In 2017, Jamie was sentenced to life in prison for the 2011 murder and torture of a woman from Bakersfield. During his court case, you can see him smirking, rolling his eyes, and mocking the family of the deceased, even giving a thumbs up as the judge announces his sentence. From there, he is transported to Corcoran State Prison, where things got worse. Way worse. He is given a cellmate, Luis Romero, who had spent more than 2 decades in prison himself. On March 9th, 2019, guards checked their cell and find the most gruesome scene. Romero had been beheaded, and several of his body parts were removed and fashioned into a necklace worn by Jamie. Ha 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 had been written on the wall in blood, as well as the man with 1,000 faces.
Curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 24. There's been multiple cases of people actually being eaten alive by an escalator. If you like to eat cereal, there's a 21 to 38% chance that you're also eating an scariest mite. Supposedly, if you have sanpaku eyes, meaning that there's white below your iris, it actually means that you're supposed to die young. Every time you feel very aggressive, your brain is set to kill for a few seconds. So in that 1 second, you could kill a human being. When getting laser eye surgery, you can actually smell the parts of your eyes being shaved down by the lasers. If you're a male, after you die, your loved ones can have a doctor electrocute your prostate, forcing you to ejaculate for your sperm. Female dragonflies often fake their own death to prevent rape. If you ever get burned by electricity, it will leave burn marks shaped like lightning on your skin. Many pets actually die because their owner dies unexpectedly and nobody comes in to check in on them in time.
Disturbing Unsolved Mysteries Episode 4. Now, a woman's body is found in a hotel water tank weeks after she vanishes, so what made her death so bizarre and terrifying? Now, in February of 2013 at the Cecil Hotel in LA, guests complained of foul-tasting water. Well, maintenance found the decomposing body of 21-year-old Canadian student Alicia Lam in a rooftop water tank. She'd been missing for weeks since checking in. Her death was ruled accidental, but autopsy results were inconclusive, and elevator footage from right before she disappeared shows Lam acting paranoid, hiding in the corner, pressing multiple buttons but failing to leave. Some believe that she was having a bipolar episode, while others insist that someone killed her. We may never fully understand what happened to Alicia Lam at the infamous haunted Cecil Hotel that night. But if you think that's bizarre, wait until you hear about that unidentified woman found burnt to death in Norway. The coded diaries and the fake IDs found reveal a sinister mystery. Don't miss this haunting cold case next. Living doll that seemed to rapidly age. A couple bought their daughter a new doll that was well loved for years, but when they found it over a decade later, its condition was shockingly different. The mystery involves a couple who one Christmas purchased their young daughter a new porcelain doll. She adored and played with it often. Well, after some years of enjoying the doll, the girl eventually outgrew it, and the toy was boxed up and stored in the family's attic. Well, shockingly, when the parents rediscovered the doll over 11 years later during a clean-out, that's when things took a spine-chilling turn. The once smooth-skinned doll now appeared severely wrinkled and aged, with hair falling out, faded skin, and cracks throughout its face and body, similar to a human rapidly aging decades in a short span. Expert analysis confirmed the abnormal changes could not be explained by typical wear and tear alone. Many who've heard the account believe paranormal forces caused the doll to essentially come to life and unnaturally age as a human would.
Nightmarish facts about your body that you probably shouldn't think about. Due to the brain's lack of pain receptors, brain surgery is often performed while the patient is awake and talking. And in some cases of brain surgery, the surgeon will pull your face forward like a banana. Men's nipples can be stimulated enough to produce milk. Once you turn 30 years old, you can expect to lose half an inch every 10 years. When you developed in the womb, your anus was formed before anything else. So at one point, you were nothing but an asshole. The acid in your body is strong enough to dissolve razor blades, which is why your stomach is in a constant battle to not digest itself. When you get a sunburn, your cells are dying to avoid becoming cancerous. A sneeze can blow out of your nose at over 100 miles an hour. So next time, be careful, because it's actually possible to break a rib simply by sneezing. If you've ever been on a roller coaster and feel like your heartbeat is in your mouth, it isn't your imagination. Your organs are actually moving around inside your body.
He was friendly and he was nice and he was so funny. He was so funny. He would always have me laughing. We used to play this game called Kick the Can, and he was the fastest runner, so we always wanted to be on his team.
Richard's friend Patricia found him kind and caring.
If we wanted to take a shortcut to school, we had to cut through this really tough neighborhood. And he always used to wait for me, sitting on a little pony wall, and then he would walk me to school. It was always safer, to be in twos, I guess. He used to sit in back of me in 5th grade, and I remember that he would poke me in the back. And every time he would poke me, I would jump up. And so that time that he kept poking me, I turned around very upset, and I said, hey, stop. And I remember him slumping over and then just hitting the floor on the side.
He would have seizures. He would be shaking. We knew he was sick.
My Bluetooth headset exploded while I was wearing it, resulting in my death. I was a 28-year-old student, comfortably ensconced at home, absorbed in music and deep in thought. I had my Bluetooth headset on, isolating myself from the world outside. Then everything abruptly changed. My Bluetooth headset decided to put on a display of pyrotechnics. It blew up. Damn it. The explosion jarred my skull and catapulted me from my chair. When the paramedics arrived, I was lying unconscious on the floor, the headset still affixed to my ears. They tried everything to revive me, but their efforts were in vain. I died of cardiac arrest, and you're likely curious as to why. Here's the reason. My headset was connected to my smartphone, which was in the process of charging. It seems a power surge occurred due to a power outage, triggering the explosion. It was as if all the malevolent forces in the universe had gathered in that headset and decided to cause destruction. Now I'm here, recounting this story from beyond the grave, frustrated and incensed. Why was it me? Why did what seemed like an ordinary day result in my untimely death?
People have been asking me for more crazy accidents that happen at national parks. And I researched this for one of my podcast episodes, but I didn't realize how many people fall off the side of the Grand Canyon every year. They say on particularly high fatality years, it's as much as one person a month. One of the craziest stories about this, though, is actually about this woman right here, Dee Dee Johnson. So Dee Dee was a fashion designer in Los Angeles in the 40s and 50s, best known for inventing the pedal pusher, which is actually the pants that she's wearing there. And one day, Dee Dee takes her whole team from Los Angeles to the Grand Canyon because she wants to do a photo shoot there. And she's walking around like she owns the place, and she's not being all that safe by the ledge, when all of a sudden she takes a step backwards and she falls off the ledge. She lands on a smaller ledge, basically like this. She's holding on super tight, but her legs and the pressure of her body are pushing her towards the actual edge. And this drop right here is almost the height of the Statue of Liberty. If she falls off, she's definitely going to die. So this one park ranger who was screaming at her to get away from the ledge sees that she goes over and immediately grabs this rope. He's able to get it down to her, tie it under her armpits, and start pulling her up. But the force of the rope is a lot, so when Dee Dee comes up over the edge, she's alive, but she is completely topless in front of all the photographers.
Mysterious case absolutely does not sit right with me. Someone knows something and has not come forward. On the 12th of July 2015, 18-year-old Tiffany and her parents attended a graduation party in New Jersey. At around 9 p.m, one of Tiffany's friends spoke to her parents and claimed that they were really annoyed because Tiffany had used their debit card without permission. Tiffany initially denied this to her friend, but then did admit this to her mum Diane a little bit later. At this point, they were all outside Tiffany's house, and Diane went inside to find her husband. When she returned outside of the house, Tiffany had vanished. Now, they were able to see Tiffany on the deer cameras that they had outside the house. She appears to be walking down the driveway in her normal clothing and white headband. When they tried to find Tiffany, they actually made a terrifying discovery. Her phone was lying on the floor at the bottom of the driveway. Immediately they knew something was wrong, as Tiffany never had her phone out of her sight. At 11:30 p.m, her family called the police. Little did they know, 27 minutes earlier, Tiffany had been hit by a train. Frustratingly, pretty much straight away, police presumed this death to be a self-unaliving. However, that just didn't seem to fit with the evidence presented. All of Tiffany's family and friends said how much of an upbeat person she was and that she was really happy at the time. She was making plans for the future, and the autopsy also showed that she had a clean toxicology report. Now, in the deer cam footage, she was fully clothed, but when she was found, she was just in her underwear with no shoes on. Upsettingly, 2 weeks after her death, Tiffany's mum actually found her missing trainers and headband more than a mile away from the tracks. Could someone have murdered Tiffany and then dumped her body on the train tracks to make it look like she did this herself? Tiffany's parents certainly think so. They definitely suspect some foul play was involved.
I was drugged and left for dead in the Australian outback, but I survived an astonishing 71 days in the desert. This is me before and this is me after this nightmare. The nightmare unfolded in January 2006 as I was driving from Queensland to Port Hedland. I encountered a hitchhiker along the way and offered him a ride. We struck up a conversation, during which he offered me a drink. Unwisely, I accepted. My next memory is of awakening in a shallow grave, buried under layers of dirt and sand. I managed to claw my way out, but I was in a state of shock. My location was unknown to me, as was the length of time I'd been there. My car and all my belongings had vanished. All I had were the clothes on my back and a knife I habitually carried. I was surrounded by an endless desert, one of the harshest and driest places on Earth, with temperatures regularly exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, and dropping below freezing at night. I began walking, hoping to find help. For weeks I wandered the wilderness alone, grappling with hunger, thirst, extreme temperatures, venomous creatures, and wild animals. I built shelters from branches and leaves, dug holes to collect rainwater, and ate whatever I could find, including lizards, snakes, insects, and plants. I lost a significant amount of weight. My skin was sunburnt and blistered, my hair and beard grew unkempt, and my clothes were reduced to rags. Despite the odds, I clung to hope, continually reassuring myself that I would be found. And indeed I was. After enduring 71 days of hell, I came across a cattle station where workers found me. They rushed me to Darwin for medical treatment. The doctors were astounded by my survival, attributing it to my body's remarkable adaptation to the harsh conditions. In the aftermath of this harrowing experience, I decided to share my story with the world. I penned a book detailing my survival, hoping that my tale of resilience and hope in the face of adversity would inspire others. Thank you for tuning in.
In December of 2019, the Todd family disappeared in thin air, and when police arrived at their house, they were utterly disturbed. Hi, my name is Ethan, and here's everything you need to know in under 1 minute. Walking into the home lay the confused father, Anthony Todd, who had apparently taken a whole bottle of Benadryl. Wrapped in the blankets by the bed lay the decayed bodies of his wife, their 3 children, and family dog. When he sobered up, his story changed multiple times, but the one that stuck was that him and his family had tried to unalive themselves because of the upcoming apocalypse. Apparently, if they unalived themselves in the same room, they would stay in the afterlife together. He even claimed that all 3 of his children, who were aged 13, 11, and 4, claimed that they agreed to take their own lives. Thankfully, he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison without parole.
You guys remember the Randonautica app and how it led a group of teenagers using it to a suitcase of dismembered human remains? On June 19, 2020, a group of teenagers were using Randonautica, which prompted them to explore a West Seattle beach called Duwamish Head. One of the teens was recording a TikTok video when they stumbled upon a large suitcase that had washed ashore. After opening it with sticks, they found that inside of the suitcase was a garbage bag that had a horrible smell, so they called the police. When police searched the area, they also found a smaller duffel bag, and both bags contained dismembered human remains. After testing, the King County Medical Examiner found that the remains belonged to 35-year-old Jessica Lewis and 27-year-old Austin Winter, a couple who had been dating for 8 years. Authorities concluded that the couple had been beaten before death, and after, Jessica was shot multiple times while Austin was fatally shot once. They were then dismembered, and police believe this happened roughly 10 days earlier on June 9th. During the investigation, authorities found that the couple had been renting a room in a Burien house from 62-year-old Michael Lee Dudley, who had a long history of sexual assault and violent animal cruelty. On the night of the murders, neighbors actually called 911 after hearing gunfire and screaming coming from the home, but when the Burien police responded, nobody answered the door, so they just left. A witness came forward and said that she actually moved into Michael's home on the night of the murders and that Michael actually helped move her things in. But she said that his glasses were broken and that he had scratches all over him. She also said that later that night, she opened the upstairs bedroom door, which is where she was going to be staying, and saw a pile of clothing on the floor with a hand sticking out of it. Michael then reportedly told her that he needed to clean up a mess first and asked if he could take her somewhere else for the night, in which she agreed. But when they were leaving, she saw Michael laying out plastic tarp all over the basement floor. And when she asked him about it, he said, quote, "Let's just put it this way, his gun misfired and mine didn't." End quote. After searching Michael's home and finding bullet holes, blood, and other incriminating evidence, he was arrested. Although he initially denied any involvement in the murders, authorities believe that his motive was over unpaid rent. Michael was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, and I believe sometime this month he will officially be sentenced.
911, what's the address of
I need an ambulance at 1045 Kenton Street. I need officers here.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Ma'am, go ahead and repeat the address. Hold on, what's the address? It's not coming up as a good address.
745 Kenton. 745 Kenton.
Is it a house or an apartment?
Yes, it's a house.
Okay, go ahead and repeat the address to make sure I have it right.
745 Kenton Street.
Okay, and what's your callback phone number?
716-201.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
December 12, 2015, Aurora, Colorado. A woman by the name of Julie Simpson calls 911 to report an attack on herself and her daughter. Here's a 911 call.
Tell me exactly what happened.
He stabbed my daughter and me over here at my house.
Okay. He stabbed you?
Yes.
Okay, and your daughter?
Yes.
Okay, how old is...
And he's getting another knife now.
Is he still there?
More knives. Yes.
Okay. Can you get away from him? Ma'am? Can you get away from him? Hello?
My daughter was dying.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get help on the way over there, okay? Where is he at right now? Hello?
Run around the car!
Okay. Ma'am, is there somewhere that you guys can go to get away from him?
No, we're trying to do neighbors helping us.
Okay. Can you guys get in a vehicle and lock the doors? Can you go lock the door somewhere?
No, we can't. Come back here.
All right. What is the male wearing?
He's wearing black jacket.
Okay. What else? What color pants?
Black jeans. Call the
police,
please.
We have help. We have a lot of help coming that way, okay? Okay. Where's your daughter at right now?
Like she's in the street screaming.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 47 years and 50 years old.
Okay, what race is he? Ma'am, what race is he?
He's Hispanic.
Okay, you say he has on a black jacket. What color pants?
Okay, hurry.
We have help coming, ma'am, okay? What color pants does he have on?
He's got black on.
Okay, black jacket, black pants?
He's got knives.